Hello, everybody. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the episode number 5 of the inductee interviews for the International Volleyball Hall of Fame. My name is Alex Castillo. I'm from Mexico City. You can find me on the social media as Mr. Volleyball and Plus Volleyball. And I say hello to my very good friend and partner on the IMAC in the International Volleyball Hall of Fame, Alfredo Cabero from Chile. Alfredo, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me again for this fantastic session.
Oh no, I'm very, very glad. And well, we are thrilled because today we have a very, very good guest, a very, very nice person. I have the pleasure to meet her last October in the ceremony in Holyoke. The European champion, world champion, Olympic champion, and a lot of more things. Laura Ludwig, live from Hamburg, Germany. How are you, Laura? It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I feel very honored of the interest in my person. I'm so far away from you guys, and I just want to add a very important thing. I'm a mother now from 2. That's a very important success as well. So thanks for having me, and I can't wait to talk to you.
Two kids, right?
Yes, 2 sons. The big one is 7, and the little one is 3.
A full-time work, a full-time job.
Yeah, it is a full-time job. You probably have to live it, then you can understand it. Otherwise, you won't understand what motherhood and fatherhood brings to the world.
Amazing. Well, congratulations for that. A great family you have formed.
Thank you.
Well, Laura, welcome again to the show. We're premiering on Saturday, 21st of February, on YouTube channel. And Alfredo, good morning in Santiago, Chile.
Hello, Laura. Hello, Alex. It's always a pleasure to be with you talking about volleyball, and especially with Laura, because for me it's a double satisfaction or joy. For me, as a ex-volleyball player, as the creator and editor of Amor por el Voleibol, Liebe für Volleyball, so heißt mein Channel. And also because I lived as a child in Germany, in Deutschland. And for me, it's a very special thing to interview my first German volleyball player. I have more than 200 interviews, but never I interviewed a volleyball player of
From Germany.
Yes.
So we should speak in German, I guess. So nobody understands.
If we speak in German, Alex would understand nothing.
Not only me, but all the fans around the world.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, do you remember, Alfredo? We interviewed Jürgen Wagner, the coach of Laura, 3 months ago. I think, like something like that.
Yeah.
Amazing guy, amazing character in volleyball history. We'll talk a little about Jürgen later. Well, Laura, good morning there in Germany. You are right now in Hamburg, but you was born in East Berlin.
Yes, I'm right now in Hamburg. It's midday afternoon, 1 o'clock. And I was born in Berlin, but I I left Berlin with 17 years old to go to the west of Germany in Leverkusen. So I finished school there and played first division volleyball. And that's why I switched first time the city because of my sport, the sport I love.
But you first played indoor or you always played beach?
No, I started with indoor volleyball with 8 years old. I did some other sports before, but I was never really actually like, judo catched me, I have to say. I really liked the sport as well. But I was too far away from home. That's why my mom said, like, let's have a look at volleyball because that's very close to us. That's my little son is coming now. You want to say hello? Hello.
One of two.
Yes, yeah, we were sick last week, so that's why we are all at home. And he wanted to say hello, but now he's going away. So I started, yeah, and my mom said, yeah, let's try volleyball. That's close from home. That's just 10 minutes away, and you can walk there for practice. And so I started going there, and I loved it from the beginning on, from the first moment. Um, I think it wasn't only the sport I loved from the beginning on. I think it was also being with the team, with the girls, with the boys actually in the beginning as well. So going to a sport which combines like a group and a big team, and we had lots of fun. I mean, at that age, it's probably the most important thing, yeah, that you enjoy the sport, surrounded with good people, with friends, with good coaches, actually, with was at that time Michael Lehmann, who started the youth in our club. And yeah, then I started playing indoor volleyball, and I was there for 10 years. And then it was 17, I switched to Leverkusen to go to the first division volleyball.
Laura, well, you were born in a very different Germany that today. How was and East Germany especially was a power force in world volleyball in the 70s, in the 80s. What do you remember about that, and how difficult or how easy was to get involved in volleyball at that time in East Germany?
It was easy because volleyball, everybody wanted to play volleyball, I had the feeling. Also, we had big clubs like VCO Berlin. Yeah, I can't remember all, but there was like big Berlin clubs. And there was also, how do you say, when you get the collection from the best players from Berlin, you come together. So that was also happening. So it was actually really easy for us. And kind of an identification as well, going through sport in East Germany, in East Berlin. But to be honest, I was 4 years old when the wall came down, so it was all easier when I grew up, then easier to start something. But I have to say, in East Berlin, it was always about sport. Everything was about sport. That was the most important thing I think the people also had and connected.
Alfredo.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, Laura, about something I always have admire about Germany, what you're saying about the love for sports generally. Here in Chile, for example, we have at school every year. I was in the German school here in Chile. A kind of sport test. It's called the Sportabzeichen. Alex, at the school, we must make some sport tests, and after you pass the sport test, you receive a medal. It's very strange for people outside Germany, but they have a concept about sports that's part of their life. So, for me, I want to ask you about your start in volleyball, because Germany has so many sports and very important sports like football, soccer, athleticism, basketball, the snow sports. Why do you choose, not only because your mother, because maybe volleyball at school is very important, but why did you choose volleyball, and you choose to make your life in volleyball?
Yeah, like I said, I really liked being with the team. That was the first of all, the big component, I wouldn't say, but actually then being or playing with the ball. I think I always had the talent being at the ball and knowing how to get the ball from A to B, and having fun with it. And I was kind of starting to get to be a leader in every little team I was, like youth team. And I really like that as well, that you can create a team and lead a team to get somehow also success. And I really liked that as well. And I think the big component, which was also important, was that in the school, they combined it with the training. So I was in a sports school, and our trainer could come to the school and do our sports sessions. So we had training instead of sports session, sport school, sport lessons. So that was kind of also a start of being more regular and developing kind of a performance mindset with it. And so this support from school, parents, the team, the club. I think that's in Germany as well, always really big, that the club side is really important, that parents come and help, that people around the club come and help and support with all sorts of things. Like when you have a championship to do in your hall, then everybody comes and is cooking, baking, or doing stuff for the surrounding. And then we play and we win, and then of course we love it, so we keep going. And but I think also the mix in volleyball is that you can kind of play also chess. I like the way that indoor and beach volleyball you can develop in one game. You can start really badly sometimes, but when you have the right mindset with your team and the right focus, you can always win in the end, because that makes a game. You always have you go point by point, step by step, and you can learn out of this so much.
Right. Laura, you have talked with us about a little of your involvement in sport, but can you be more specific about how were you introduced or to beach volleyball? How did you make this switch from indoor volleyball to beach volleyball?
I started playing beach volleyball with 13 actually already in the summertime. So when we didn't have the indoor league, so we had free time, and our coach from the indoor team from our club said, let's go to the how do you say, that's a holiday site where you have a beach volleyball court, and we went there. Went a little bit of swimming, but we also practiced a little bit. So that was the first. Sorry for my coughing. That was the first connection or start with beach volleyball with 13, and we loved practicing it. And it was outside. It was totally different. It felt different. I didn't feel so comfortable straight away, because it was. The ball didn't fly like indoor. Like I had to change some movements. I had to change some techniques so that I can get control under with the ball. But I think the difference was getting some influence from outside, from the sun, from wind, from the sand, different sands. And actually, I also played with different partners at that time, with 13, 14, 15. I started playing the tour in the north. It's called in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. They had at the sea every weekend a tournament, and so I went with my best friend there, Paula, and my parents came, my brother came. We went with a tent. So we had a weekend with the family, and I played some tournaments in beach volleyball. So there was every weekend in every summer from 13 on. And that was kind of our routine. And it started to get into my routine that I really like it. And I was very young, and on the tour there was a lot of older players already, and me and my best friend Paula, we started to win some games. So there was a little bit like peeks into the older players and older teams. And yeah, that was the start where I fell in love with beach volleyball more than actually indoor volleyball.
Yeah. Well, in the beginnings, of course, beach volleyball was played on beaches. In California, in Brazil, it was highly developed in the South Pacific because of World War I and World War II. But you are talking like in the late 90s or early 2000s when you started to play. How different was the scene at that time? When you compare right now to the actual beach volleyball, talking about the Germans, the Norwegians, the Swedish guys, how different was or hard was in the late 90s for you young players of beach volleyball in Europe?
That's a good question. I don't know if it was hard. We had the opportunities. Like, you mean the game by itself, how hard it was to play beach volleyball, or
Yeah. I mean about the courts,
the opportunities and the
about
courts?
opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't as much as there's now. The courts are exploding, especially after the gold medal from Jonas and Junius, and then 4 years later with our gold medal in the Olympics. Beach volleyball was definitely in people's eyes. They wanted to play. Now it's exploding with camps, with the structure of the sport in the federation. They're trying new stuff. They're trying to they try to professionalize it. But when I started playing with on tour on the world tour with 17 with my first partner Sarah Golla, I think we were kind of standing on our own feet a little bit. Like, I had the chance to be with Sarah, and she was 2 years older, and she was already a little bit more grown up than me, and decided, okay, I want to make the step out of the secure indoor volleyball situation and go out into the world tour, and try my best there, or that we try our best there. In the beginning, I wasn't really sure. I still did the school, had to finish the school, and obviously in the beginning you have to pay money to get to the tour, and pay the tickets, the hotel, and if I wouldn't have my parents, or we wouldn't have our parents, we would never be able to do it. So the start was Sarah's idea, and it was actually my luck that I had her on my side as with this age we had. So that was very brave, I would say, at that time, because we're kind of the youngest team as well, which went out to the world to go on the world tour. And then it started. There's like, I think with the start that we had Pul Rao with us before us going on tour, then Danja Müsch, Susie Lame, all those older players, which also started a little bit later in the age, going from indoor to beach volleyball, I think. And I think what I remember, we were kind of the youngest starting doing the switch. And I think that was very important to do the switch so early, to really recognize what you have to change in that sport, like how much more responsibility do you have on your own, how much you have to go think and be kind of your own boss as well. You have to make decisions which coach you need, which athletic coach you need, we traveled alone on the world tour, and we decided to have a physio actually with us as well, because we can't do this alone. And so that was a time where it started, or where we understood that there needs more professionality from our side. So I think that was from the growing process from us, from getting older and understanding the sport. That was perfect that we started that young.
Okay, Alfredo.
I want to ask you, Laura, about do you have some special championship or special medal that you remember the most? And maybe you would say to me that the Olympic was the peak of your career, but sometimes when you start, or when you're, for example, have some injuries and you play well and you win, do you have some of these championships you remember the most?
Yeah. How much time do we have? Yeah, I remember a lot of medals which doesn't have they don't have to do with highlights, but they have like at itself. But for example, the first European Championship was 2008 with Sarah Golla in Hamburg, in our chosen hometown. We choose to live here in Hamburg and practice here and practice our sport we love. And so we won here in our hometown first time the European Championship. It was very young year. I think that was our second European championship together as well in the senior side. So there was a very big success and we couldn't believe it. And then the other medal I remember the most is actually with Sarah, for example. I was on the World Tour 9 times, I think, in the final, winning the silver medal, and we never won gold together. And that was heartbreaking for us. And there was always something missing in the final. And when I came together with Kira, then I won, I think, in the 2013. Was it 2013? In the end of 2013, we won the first gold in Shanghai in China. And that was definitely, I was just after the last point, I was just looking up and was like, oh my God, finally the gold medal is here. So I couldn't believe that we had the gold medal in our hands. And that was definitely a special moment, going through that breaking point, not being good enough for the final, actually. That was always kind of my heartbreak, that I was not enough for making actually being a winner. So that was really cool that that was possible. And then I think those were definitely the most and I have to say the world champs with 2017, winning the world champs with Kira after winning the Olympics was definitely special as well. That after the Rio, we were sitting together and we were like, okay, what's coming next? And I actually had in my head that I want to stop for 1 year and have a baby already. But then I was like, there we were both like looking into each other's eyes and we're like, oh, next year there's a world champs and we don't have this title yet. We should try another year. And going through this year with actually my shoulder surgery, and Kira also had body problems. So the season 2017 wasn't perfect at all. But then winning the World Champs in 2017 in Vienna in an amazing event was definitely special as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Vienna. That was an amazing event. I remember very well in the island in the middle of the river. I think in November. I interviewed DJ Starry, amazing DJ from Vienna, and he explained me a lot about the impact of that championship in Vienna. I remember it very, very well.
Yes, I mean, I think every day there were like 25 to 30,000 people on that venue. I mean, in the stadium there were probably only, I don't know, 7,000. I can't remember, but full packed there. I mean, there was a long line that they wanted to come get into the stadium, and the whole venue was just a spectator for spectators, like an entertainment program the whole time. So that was very special. I mean, the Austrians, they know how to do tournaments, I guess.
Yeah, and it was and it was close to home to Germany and to Berlin. And it was more easy for your family to attend or your friends.
Yes, family was there, whole family. They were also on a camping place again. Like my parents love being in a camping site. And also, the whole big family was there. The friends were there, so that was very special to celebrate with them together.
Laura, you mentioned.
I hope you can cut out my coughing. That's disturbing like hell. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, Laura. You mentioned a couple of your partners. I want to mention, of course, Sarah Goller, Jana Kohler. Here I have Julia Sud, Margareta Kosuch, Leonie Korsinger. But more special, of course, I think you spent a lot of time playing with Kira Walkenhorst. You were European, World, and Olympic champion with Kira Walkenhorst. What aspects do you think were the key ingredients for the success of your partnership with Kira Walkenhorst especially?
Oh, there's lots of aspects because we were I think the most big or the important aspect was that we were committing to performance. And that was although we were or we are very different in our characters. Like we have 5 years different of age. A bit, when we came together, we had different perspectives. I was already on the world tour for several years, and for Kira, it was new to get to the world tour as regular as we started in 2013. And then also the fact that we had a new team with us, so a new team for both of us with Jürgen. At that time, it was also Hans Vogt. We had Heike Klaassen as an assist coach, and like a lot of other team members. The staff was big in the end. Was big for a beach volleyball team, I would say, and lots of people who helped us. And I think having like the commitment to. I mean, it's easy to say giving 100%. But what the 100% means, that was a big commitment. I think that we went through all the details, which we like, how do you say, construction sites, and all the construction sites need a little bit of work on. And we definitely committed to all of those things. Like we talked about changing techniques, getting better athletics, doing a better job in nutrition and sleep. In the mental side, we worked together the first time, like really regular with a sport psychologist until the end. Until last year, I worked with her together with Annette, which helped me also a lot understanding me, myself, how I want to be on the court. And I think that was a big point that we both wanted to understand how we can play our best at the court, and also how can we support each other. I mean, I think that is sometimes also like communication wise, like we had different communication sides, and bringing this on one language in a team, that was a very important step. Like, and I think it was a process from 4 years so that we can really understand each other blind on the court in 2016. And yeah, that was very special that we, although we had some issues with the body, with injuries, that we always had one aim. And even when we didn't play together, for Kira, for example, she had a fever, the FIFA fever. How do you call it in English? But she had like to stop for 6 months doing sport. So she couldn't train. She wasn't allowed really to go on steps, like taking stairs. She was really going down with her immune system, human system, yeah. And so that's why I had to play with Jule Sude. But that we worked at that time still on our little things, on our details we had to work on, and focus totally on ourselves. And when we came back together, there was still the commitment how we want to play as a team. And I think that was, and always trusted each other, that we work on our shit. Like, so I think this big commitment was from the beginning until the end, because we had this big dream to win the gold medal in 2016.
Amazing story, Laura. Alfredo.
Shortly, Sude is the daughter of Burkhard Sude, or
Yes, yeah, you're right.
I'm not sold. I wanted to ask you about a other thing. You're a top player, a top sport, and you're a mother. I remember to interview Carol Solberg from Brazil. She also is a mother, and she plays at the highest level until today.
Yes.
Her mother was also a fantastic player, mother, and still
Yes.
playing. I want to ask you because, for example, I also interviewed Peruvian players from the 80s, and most of them postponed the motherhood after they retired. But in your case, you're still playing. How is it for you to be mother, high top, best in the world volleyball player? How is it with your teamwork, with your husband? How is it in your life and daily life to be a mother and high top volleyball player?
Yeah, first of all, I have to say that's really cool that I had kind of idols in that case, like Carrie, Carol, other mothers who actually were so brave and did it while they were playing and kept playing. I am not sure if I would have done it and be so brave if I wouldn't have seen another mother doing it and going on tour. So that's why, yeah, I did it, and that was amazing. Actually, I have to say, it is definitely more work, but and being more precise in timing and efficient in what you do. But I think that is with the time you are mother and you playing, you find that out as well. And because I learned before so much about myself and were really honest about myself and what I need. So that's why I also knew what I need when I am a mom and also a player. But I didn't know everything. Like the beginning of being a mom and going back to training was hard. I was crying a lot because I was so I couldn't imagine like the first 2 weeks, for example, with my little baby. I didn't even have time to brush my teeth, I had the feeling, or go showering. And then I was like, how can I practice 2 times a day? But that's also a process of week by week, month by month, it's changing, and we grow into the role being parents and working and having actually the people around us. That was really important, having my parents, Morph's mom, also friends who helped us out a lot. And we kind of had a village for our babies as well. For so what is the talk you say, or the speech? You need a village to grow up a kid. And I think that's what we kind of developed around us. Everybody liked each other, loved each other. The people who looked after the kids were really kind of family members already, and other way around as well. The boys loved the people around us. So the boys also understood from the beginning on there's more than just mama and papa. There's a lot of people who love them. And that is already special, I think. And then I would say going alone on a tournament or going alone to a beach volleyball camp and leaving the kids at home with the father or my parents was actually kind of holiday. going going back to my sport and going to focus just on myself. That was like, oh my gosh, that's get some oil on my back and give me a massage. That's amazing. Let's do some practice and like having to accept that there is phases. Some phases are hard, and some phases are going fluently. When you go through the hard phase and find some routines, find some rules for the family and for the team I'm playing with. I think that's a very good combination, and it's but probably not just in our sport and work and family together. I think it's in every business and family. So if you have an exception that it is like this and find rules and understanding from everybody, then you can get also the success into it.
Good. Well, it's pretty clear that the most important people in your life are your family, of course, your kids, your husband, your parents. But talking about volleyball, which persons, which people would you say are the most important for you, like role models or influences during your career in beach volleyball? I think the more obvious could be Kira Walkenhorst or Jürgen Wagner, but can you tell me about this list of people who were so influential for you in your career?
Yeah, that's also a lot, because every phase had a special team or a special person which made me better. Like when I, for example, look in also my indoor career when I was 2 years in Leverkusen, the coach there, Gudi Krause, was she played also actually in the Olympics in 2007 in Sydney. She was coaching the indoor team I played with, for. So there I got a lot of aspects which helped me through my career, or I make me also a better player. Then the next phase was Olaf Kortmann, who brought me to beach volleyball, who is kind of still my mentor. I always can call him and ask him questions, or will always get some advices. Then the next phase with Sarah until London was with Craig Susu, the New Zealand coach, the Kiwi guy, which brought a lot of understanding how to be professional, how to also see the world a little bit more kind of a, if I would say a father role, he would be probably angry because he's not thinking that he's that old, but he's probably kind of also a big advice person, or gave me a lot of advices as well. And then the next phase was Kira. I had Jürgen and Hans. They did a big job of for me to understand, or like to question a lot, like not do thing in my comfort zone out of institution. I did a lot of out of because it felt good that I did it, and it worked kind of with kind of a talent on the ball, being a talent on the court. But to understand how to be a better teammate, how to focus better. That was a big part, because I was always a little bit like right and left and have a chat here, have a talk there, and I love being with the people, but actually being really in the focus of the court for 2 hours practice, for example, or to understand that in the athletic part, that when I'm doing it very conscious, but the athletic part, the gym part, which I didn't like in the beginning because it was exhausting. But then I started to love it, because when I did it conscious, it actually changes also. I'm getting faster and I can jump higher. Ooh, what a surprise, Laura. But that had to make click in my head, you know? And I think they got into me, the Jürgen and Hans, they were really putting it into me that I have to do every time, every single thing, not just doing it, really doing it conscious, and really being in the details and being focused on that, what you're doing. But otherwise, you don't improve, you don't develop. And there was a big change in my mindset. And also, Jürgen was a big part that I understood how to be calm and not so hectic. I'm a very emotional person, and then sometimes there's a little bit hectic and panic coming up, and how to reflect a little bit better, how to regulate my emotions, how to regulate problems, because problems are always getting solved when you have a clear head. And I had to understand that as well. So yeah, he was definitely bringing out a little bit more the adult in me. And then the next phase also with Margareta Kosoch and Luisa Lippmann. I had as a coach my husband, and we didn't want to have that situation that we actually have to work together as well. But I'm so happy to have the opportunity to work also with MOV together, because I learned another way, or not another way, but I learned from a different side beach volleyball again, or to understand myself and to understand also the leadership role on the court. So there were a lot of parts where I learned from MOV as well. And that's a good thing that he's not listening right now. Otherwise, it's too much honey around his mouth. He shouldn't hear that so often. But no, that was actually, I loved the part as well. And so in every phase, there were persons which helped me a lot to understand me and my team better.
What you're saying is very interesting, because beach volleyball is obviously a team sport, not only for the two people playing on the sand, because of all the people who surrounds the success and the development of that two people on the sand, right?
Yes, definitely. I think sometimes when I see a big team with, like for example, indoor team or like a hockey team or football team, I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you get all those persons on one page every time, every single game, and like being really motivated in the whole team? Because like with a team of two, there's already so much going on, so much dynamic. And but then I realized also that we have to do it together. We can't change or we can't hide behind somebody else. I think that is the art in our sport, that we really have to find a way and be honest with each other, and get really to the weakness as well, from each other, and talk about the weaknesses and about the fear, so that there's no interpretation, there's no other wing of, there's no the, yeah, there's no room for too much feelings sometimes, because you have to follow a little bit the focus of the thing you do, the practice every day, and the getting better, the developing part. So yeah, I think that is really special in a beach volleyball team. And I loved learning in so many relationships I had. So many. I mean, it was 4 relationships, 5 relationships, some changes because of when Kira was sick. I played with Yuli for half a year. But every relationship taught me something, and taught me in the communication, in the way we are with each other. That I think that's the most important thing in life as well. That the way you are with your partner, with your teammate, with your referee, with the opponents, with the audience, that can make everybody stronger. And the tone makes the music as well, obviously. And yeah, finding a way there is definitely special.
Great. Alfredo.
I wanted to ask you now, Laura. We are talking about team sport, um, beach volleyball or indoor. But what do you think beach volleyball is in Germany more successful? Speaking about, for example, Olympic medals versus indoor volleyball, because indoor volleyball has a very long story in Germany, especially before in the era the East volleyball was very successful worldwide. And then today we have in Germany very good leagues, male and female. But what do you think beach volleyball is so successful compared to indoor volleyball in Germany?
I think like we had a phase where we understood where to improve, where to put the development in. Like, for example, I always remember how Jung and Hans, they were talking always about, like, we can't follow always the philosophy from Americans and Brazilians, because they have it in their blood. They were from the beginning on, they were playing beach volleyball, and it was from the that is their sport, and doing it the way they do it is probably doesn't fit in our culture, in our blood is just
Mhm.
floating differently. And so changing that aspect a little bit, and getting the right focus points on the parts we can control, like athletic technique, the mental side as well. We, like, for example, sometimes like the Americans, I would be also the mentality of the Americans, like being really strong, and I think they learn it from the beginning on, and that's really cool mentality. And the Brazilians, for example, they are um they're just the Brazilians are easy, relaxed. They do what they love, and they fight for the win. The big fighters. And I think we Europeans, we had to take it a little bit from a different side. Like when I see also the Norwegian and Swedes, they also came up with other style, with more athletic, more technique elements, and that change in the mindset that are making actually changes from in the sport like beach volleyball. That was a big win in Europe to have some other parts, and that also in Germany, obviously. And I think in indoor, they probably they are successful with here in Germany, and also the German national teams. I think the players are all over the world. They are especially in the foreigner countries, but making our own a little bit bigger again is probably about to happening right now, that there's lots of changes and we get I don't know, but it feels like there is a little bit of power coming into the games as well. Like when I watch indoor volleyball women now, I love to watch it again. Like some years, I don't know if I was too focused on beach volleyball, but it wasn't so present in my head watching a indoor volleyball match from the women's side. But now I think there's again a change of athletic sides. It's getting faster, it's getting stronger. So yeah, I think that's always when you take the chance of or being brave enough to change something, I think then you can develop something big.
Laura, you were talking a little about the approach of the German players versus Americans, Brazilians, etc. I want to ask you about the let us understand the impact of you and Kira winning gold medal in the Olympics, Julius Brink and Jonas Reckerman winning gold in the Olympics, because when at that time, when you think about beach volleyball, obviously you think about Australians or Americans or Brazilians. How was the impact for German volleyball, for German sport, and for the country to have a couple of men and women Olympic beach volleyball champions? I mean, I can't even imagine if in Mexico we were talking about we are world champions of beach volleyball, and we have a lot of beaches. What was the impact and the reception of that in Germany?
The impact was huge. I mean, everybody everybody knew us. That was crazy. And especially like when I was walking around in Rio de Janeiro in the streets, they recognized me because we beat Brazilians. But that was kind of funny. But I think the impact was huge. You could see that daily, weekly, monthly, the camps of amateur sport was growing so fast and so much, and still now everybody have the feeling everybody wants to play beach volleyball, and the courts are growing out of the. I mean, they could grow more out of the ground, but there's beach volleyball indoor facilities developing, and yeah, I think that was huge for our sport. Definitely.
And talking especially about the Rio Olympics gold medal match, how was the feeling to beat a Brazilian team, Agatha and Barbara, in Rio in that spectacular venue? How was your personal thoughts about that and the impact in the German sport?
That was crazy. That was definitely crazy feeling. Semi-final and final against the Brazilians in Brazil. We also had like our psychologist coach. He said like, let's go to the stadium before the games and feel and hear and listen to the crowd, so that you don't get surprised when you play and maybe win. So it could get a little bit louder than you expect or than you usually have on the court, and that was definitely a big surprise. But I mean, Agatha and Barbara, for example, they did an amazing 2 years before. They won a lot of tournaments. They won the World Championship before, I think, and in 2015. So there was they did some great beach volleyball, and also the semi-final winning against Kerry and April. That was a big win already for them. That was kind of their final for them already, and maybe they were kind of tired of the expectations of their self and the expectations of the fans. So that we had it hopefully a little bit easier in the final. That's why as well. But I think everything came together for me and Kira as well. Like we are so focused that everything worked, and that was crazy. Although I have to say, the whole tournament in Rio, I was kind of more relaxed than the other Olympics. Like I had more my grip together in my head, being not that nervous. But the warm up before the final, I was terrified. I was shaking, and you know, when you warm up, you are hitting some balls. I was hitting into the net with no block and no defense, and I was pissing my pants, and because the gold is so close, and Jürgen was just taking me from the court and said like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And he was just like, take a breath, go back to your routines, and go on the court and do the thing you can do the best. Okay. So that was like going into the stadium. My mindset came a little bit back, but I have to say, Kira was in that game also my rock. She was before the games before. She was always a kind of more nervous one when we went into the games, but in the final, she wanted that gold. I can tell you, she wanted that gold. So she was definitely holding my nervous mentality a little bit back. So it was kind of the start of the final against Agata Barbara, and yeah, but it came everything together, and that's why I think Kira and me, we worked together and we understood each other blind because of the 4 years together. We really worked hard on our communication, how to be fine with weaknesses and stuff like this. Yeah.
And one thing some people often miss is that obviously they remember very well your gold medal match, but not a lot of people know that you played in 5 Olympics.
Yes, I did. That's crazy. That's like 20 years.
Yeah, and the qualification process, it's very, very, very
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's special. It's definitely special. Also, like having the chance after 2016 playing as a mom in Tokyo was I couldn't have my family there, obviously, in Tokyo, but it was definitely special knowing that he was at home and watching the games, or in Paris, both boys were there with my husband. So the whole family was there, and that like seeing that picture in my head, them in the stadium and being fired up because of the Olympics,
Yeah.
and because of playing me there, still losing, but they were still fired up that it's happening. So it was really cool that our sons could see what we were thriving for, what our passion was for, and why we love the sport so much, and why the Olympics are so special.
Yeah. And in that venue, especially in that venue in Paris,
It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yes. We had also the first game was against against France, and we there was a moment, the time when we started playing. I think after the first set, the Eiffel Tower was starting to lightning, and that was really cool. We were just sitting there, and we were like losing, and I'm like, oh, that can't get worse. And then the Eiffel Tower was starting to lightning. I was like, oh, okay, let's go. Come on, we need to fire up here like this tower.
Right.
But it didn't work.
Thanks for sharing, Laura. Alfredo.
Alex made these questions in our previous interviews to our guests, and he asked our interviews about the favorite food. You have traveled the world. Do you have some food? Please don't say Mexican food, but do you have some food you remember or like the most?
Actually, I have to say, sometimes at home we do fajitas or quesadillas because we really like the food as well.
Love
But
quesadillas.
quesadillas, quesadillas, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, quesadilla.
But what I love the Brazilian food, I have to say.
Oh, yeah.
Like also the beans, farofa, the meat, filet mignon and picanha, all the meat on the barbecue. They just know how to do the meat, and that is amazing. But also the fruit in your countries, I would love to have as much fresh fruit like in the South Americans and yeah, what else? Sushi. I like sushi. I'm a fan of sushi as well. I'm actually a fan of a lot of food, so I think we can't stop. The chocolate from Swiss, I really like as well. Then from Thailand, sticky rice with mango. What else? Do you want to know more? Or
What,
now
what,
I'm getting
what,
hungry, I
what
have to
about
say.
what about the Mexican salsa, the chili?
Oh, sometimes a little bit too chilly, I have to say that. No, but the guacamole, like especially when they do it fresh on your table and you can do it by yourself and mix it by yourself, that's really cool. It's kind of an entertainment program in the restaurant as well. I really like. Like in Tlaxcala, that World Champs, I have to say that was very special as well. When I remember, I mean, we didn't play so many Mexican tournaments, so but having the world champs there and seeing how the people are crazy about beach volleyball,
Yeah.
amazing. Like
And
that was
playing
really
playing
special.
in bull rings.
Yes, that was really cool as well. Yeah, definitely really nice coulis. How do you say kulisse? Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so special.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Laura. Laura, which team or which player were the most hard to play with, or which team or which player push you to give you the best in the court?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh my gosh, that's so many years. There were like every season, I have the feeling there was probably a team which was hard to play. I have to say, which comes into my mind right now is Pevin and Bensley, because before the Olympics in 2016, I think we played them 5 times and we lost four times
Really?
badly. Yes, you didn't know that, huh? And
No.
then we played the quarterfinal against them and we won. So you can imagine how kind of not scared, but like being aware that they know how to play us. We need to change something, otherwise we don't win the quarterfinal in the Olympics and we don't get into our semifinals. So let's change some things up and grow some big bowls. Balls so that we can get out there and win the game. So at that time, Heaven Bensley were definitely our hardest component. Hard was always playing against Kerry Walsh, I have to say, because I always kind of looked up to her. She probably that was also in my head a lot of times that I couldn't play my best because I was just playing at the like I'm just the best, and I was just firing her up and not me myself. Then April Ross for sure as well. She's badass, winning 3 medals with 3 different partners. And so you can imagine like every phase I played against her, I lost a lot of games against her. That was definitely hard. Who pushed me the most? But I loved playing. I mean, especially the opponents who um, who was difficult to play against, or who made it hard for us. Uh, they definitely pushed us all the time, and that's why I enjoyed it so much playing against them, because I could just develop after the games. Like after losing, it's always um, a big important point that you reflect what you did. And that's not so easy as it sounds. Like I wasn't a good person, or like when I was younger, I didn't like watching my losing matches. I mean, nobody likes losing matches and have a look at what I did wrong. But learning out of those mistakes, I had to learn that it's making it better, and it has nothing to do with luck. It has to do something with what you really know how to do it and prepare for it. And that's why I love those matches a lot. The games against Larissa were always hard, but I loved playing against Larissa. She was always she was magic on the court in the defense, getting some balls, which nobody expected to get somebody. Or when I think back of the time with Sarah playing against the Chinese, the lefty, and Xu, and that was very tough playing against them. But they definitely got the best out of us. Or when I think back of playing against Bea Schelder, that was amazing time as well. When I played with Sarah, I played against them. We won one time, and you can't believe how much like joy brought us to our face. So yeah.
Laura, I think Alfredo has to go. In Chile, we can spend a few more minutes with you.
Yes,
but
sure.
Alfredo, it's amazing to have you here again, as always. Thanks a lot, my friend.
Thanks a lot. It was nice to meet
Bye-bye.
you.
Genauso.
Bye.
Tschüss.
Ciao,
Alfredo.
ciao.
Well, just a few more minutes, Laura. Thanks again for being here in the inductee talks in behalf of the International Volleyball Hall of Fame. Laura, can you say you have any regrets on your career?
No, I'm no regret at all. Like I think even when I think back, there was probably also phases or times where hard decisions were to make, or where it took a longer time to decide, like keep going on playing, or which player to choose, like those, or which trainer to choose. But all in all, I could learn from every single part and made me better player, better person. And through the career, I learned so many good people, to get to know so many good people in my life. That was definitely the most important thing in my career.
I really loved your answer, Laura.
Yeah, thank you.
Laura, what do you think are the biggest challenges right now for the sport, for beach volleyball? Beach volleyball has been evolved, especially a lot in the recent years. Which do you think are the biggest challenges for beach volleyball right now?
I think the biggest challenge right now is to find actually a system of a tour which makes it kind of affordable for every stakeholder, or for everybody who is participating, for the promoters, for the countries, and with the cities, for the players. Like finding a tour or a system for the tour format which makes sense for everybody, and having still the money floating. I mean, that is always the hard part of a sport, I guess, to develop in the right direction. Right now, it looks a little bit like it's hard to find a system where everybody is agreeing on. I mean, I think what really cool was that you could watch every match, every tournament on stream, and that was I think a really cool developing part. But getting it into TV, getting it into a regular tournaments like Start, Vienna, or like in former times it was Daria Blanchi, where you had every year the same tournament and you could rely on, there's the big tournaments, that's your high points, your, like, I think the time when we had Grand Slams and Opens, that you like your tour, but you had your highlights in your year. That was a really, really good cool time. and you could plan with the, like, also for players, I think for teams, the most important part is also the periodization, like when to peak, when to practice, and when to have a break, which is really important as well. I would say that was the most important part for us Europeans, especially, that we had our winter where we could go a step back, have our holiday, and then find back into the shape and develop through the part where we had blocks where we practice a lot and not think about tournaments already and about points and stuff like this. So right now I think it's like I love the amount of tournaments, but I don't know if it's better to have it a little bit better planned again so that we can periodize a little bit better. I think then also the quality of the sport won't get helped a little bit. So the players need a little bit of help, have regeneration. I mean, you see a lot of injuries in the last years, so I think that is a big part that could be better again.
All right, I got it. Laura, let's in our final part of this amazing interview with you, please share with us about your feelings when you first know you were in the final ballot of the inductees for the International Volleyball of Fame, and when you get the news that you were inducted and you were invited to the ceremony last October.
Yeah, that was crazy because I wasn't really taking it serious because I wasn't thinking that I get voted. There was, I don't know, it was far away from my my thoughts. And then I got like Josh was writing me that we need to meet up and have a talk for 10-15 minutes only. And this week I had a lot of, I don't know, was lots of going on with my family and a lot of appointments. And then I was like, yeah, okay, let's meet up on Friday. There I have a slot from 15 minutes. So I was getting the call, and then there were 5 persons in that call. I was like, what's going on here? I need to prepare the birthday party for my son, so I don't have so much time. And he's like, yeah, we actually wanted to tell you that you're in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, what am I? Am I really? No. So then starting to realize I really was overwhelmed, really overwhelmed. I couldn't imagine being in the Hall of Fame. I was never kind of getting or like thinking about it. But now being next to idols of mine, like Carrie or Misty, or like a lot of players which are big, amazing players which achieved a lot in their career and developed the sport and changed the sport as well to something big. And now I can be there as well. That's really, really overwhelming.
Amazing. It was a pleasure to
And
have you there.
that was really nice as well, actually, having a time in the in the group of a volleyball family there, and not being at a tournament, so relaxing and talking about all good old times, and that was really nice. I mean, I have to say the Americans know also how to party, like how to celebrate, not to party, but to celebrate something, and that was that felt very special, the ceremony.
Yeah. I enjoyed a lot being in the ceremony. This year will be my third.
Oh, wow, nice. That's really cool.
Laura,
We actually, do we get always invited as inductors? Yeah, we always can come whenever we want.
yeah,
But
for sure.
so
Please.
I need to plan.
Yeah, please. The third weekend of October.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed this question, but it's important. When do you realize you could have a pro career in beach volleyball? I mean, you start playing at 8 years old, you switch to beach at 13, but in which moment did you realize you can be a pro and you can be an Olympian for Germany in beach volleyball?
Oh, yeah, good question. I think I never, there was never a point where I realized it, but it was kind of a process going from one step to another step, like going on to the World Tour first and trying the beach volleyball style or beach volleyball life out as a young person. What there I wasn't thinking about like okay, now this is my profession. Now I'm living from it. I wasn't thinking that it was kind of a okay, trying it out, getting from the qualification or country quota at that time to the qualification and then to the main draw. Okay, it's happening. Then going to more tournaments and more tournaments, winning the European Championship, and then finally also qualifying for 2008 in Beijing. There was even then I didn't realize, okay, now I'm a professional, I do my sport for a living. It was just my life. It was a process of doing it and loving it. So I think at one point there it was a realization. The latest point was probably on the court itself in Beijing and being totally paralyzed because of all the emotions which were going on, and being in the Olympic Village, not like with all the other athletes from all the other countries and coming together. I was probably more in the dining room than on the training court because I just wanted to see all the players, athletes, and guessing which sport they are doing. So having this experience, yeah, was more the feeling of it, doing something I love and not that I represent now my country. So yeah,
Good,
I
amazing.
don't know if I probably never realized.
It just happened.
It just happened. No.
Laura, and talking about I told you at the beginning we were talk a little about Jürgen Wagner. How can you describe the influence of Jürgen Wagner on shaping the success of German beach volleyball in both in women and men? And it's crazy talking about that right now. But he made two teams, men and women, Olympic champions in for Germany, not for Brazil
Yes.
or
No.
Australia or USA, for Germany. How
In
crazy
Brazil,
is
they probably wouldn't have understand him. No. Yeah, that's great. Like that's why we, after the Olympics 2012, we also decided to go to Jürgen and ask him. Or actually, my Olaf Kortman, which I was talking before, my mentor, was kind of asking me like, you should ask Jürgen and ask what he is doing. And I'm like, this old man, what can he do? What can he bring to me? What can he can't hit balls on me. He can't teach me anything. That was my first response when Olaf told me I'll go and ask him. But then I realized what it's more than hitting balls on me and understanding how to play defense. He was definitely the first talk, like Kira and me, we drove by car to his house, and then he was talking probably 2 hours about his philosophy, what he thinks we need to change, what are the construction sites he sees in our team, and that was well prepared and like really individualized on us as persons and already us as a team. So that was so interesting that after the talk, Kira and me, we just looked at each other and we were like, yeah, let's do that. Let's go. There's no doubt, no question that we learn a lot in that with him in that project. And yeah, I think probably a big plus is also that he won before the gold medal, and that because there was so much change we did and so much things we had to develop. And like when you start change in the beginning is sometimes frustration because it doesn't work straight away, or you go a step back. And then trusting in that moment that not everything works 100% straight away because you don't feel so comfortable because you are in your not comfortable zone. trusting in that process was definitely also that he won already gold with the boys. I guess that was a big plus as well, staying with that philosophy. But saying that now is like learning 4 years or 5 years from him was definitely a big win for my life.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Laura. We have a couple of more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, because I can talk for hours about volleyball. I know you have some things to do, but just a couple of more questions. You travel around the world. You play in a lot of places, a lot of tournaments of all levels. Which place was your favorite for the atmosphere, for the challenge to play there, for the beauty of the place, or for the level of the players? Which one was?
There's lots of tournaments, I have to say. Like when I think about like the scenery in Gstaad, for example,
All of players
Switzerland.
mention Gstaad.
In Gstaad, yeah, because it's special. Like
Yeah.
I mean have you ever been there? Like in between, have you been in Gstaad? No?
Not yet.
It's like it's like because of the mountains, everything makes it so magic just in this little town. And you can walk everywhere, you can go by bike everywhere. I mean, I have to say, when it's good weather. When it's cold and freezing and raining, I remember I had a tournament with Sarah there where we made it to the semifinal, and we won the semifinal against China in 3 sets, and it was 40 degrees. Sarah and me, we were dying. We were packed in ice cubes after the game, because we were heated up after the game. And then we had only like 45 minutes to prepare for the final against there was at that time Larissa and Juliana. and at the final, we started playing, and it was probably something like 10 degrees, so 30 degrees less, and it was hailing. So we had to stop the game because it was hailing. And then we finished the game later on in 10 degrees. So in Start everything can happen. But still, the scenery and the houses, the people, that makes it very special. Like the crowd is always there. They love beach volleyball. And I think it's all the tournaments where you like Start is one of the tournaments which made it regular every year. So like every person who loves beach volleyball plans this tournament, to go to this tournament, to have this as their highlight in their year. And I think it was also for Klagenfurt a long time, then Vienna. And Staria Blanki was for a long time. In Staria Blanki, the people are crazy about volleyball and beach volleyball. So there was always a special feeling playing in the woods of Staria Blanki in Poland. And Hamburg, obviously, is a very beach volleyball lovers here in the city and in Germany. And it's always full. Like when we played there, we had some magical moments. That's why I think we won also. That was the first time I think I won against Carrie and April. We won in 2006, I think, the tournament before the Olympics.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, the first time winning against Carrie, and that was very special doing it at home because of the crowd, probably as well. They were definitely behind us. Yeah. I think a lot of places where people love beach volleyball.
Great. And do you keep ties with some players of another countries? Did you become friends at some time?
Yes, I mean, definitely. Like on tour, it was always nice to have kind of group of people where you could meet, drink coffee, exchange experiences and stuff like this. And with some of them I still have contact. Now having a family, it's getting a little bit less, and being away from the tour, it's also getting less, but I still have contact, and I still love the exchange about the life and about beach volleyball. So and I love still having contact also with Louise, being on tour, and through Louisa I can be still on tour a little bit. That's really nice. I'm not that far away.
Laura, what do you think about? I think my opinion of beach volleyball is that it's a little more democratic for more countries. You know, in indoor you have only 12 teams. In beach you have 24, and countries like Costa Rica, Mexico, of course, Vanuatu, this island in the Pacific, they had the chance to compete in the Olympics in beach volleyball, and for Costa Rica and Vanuatu would be very, very hard to compete in indoor volleyball. What do you think about that? Do you share that feeling that it's a little more democratic and controlling the country quota just to teams by country? What do you think about that?
Say again the last question, the country quota situation?
I mean, every country can only go with 2 teams per country. I mean, if it
you
were
mean for the Olympics?
If it were for ranking, maybe 5 or 6 Brazilians or Americans could be in the Olympics. But these give chance to another more small countries to attend the Olympics.
Yes, for sure. That's great that there is an opportunity for every country. For sure, there's not for every country the same, how do you say, the conditions, same conditions. That's why it's really cool that there is the federation, the international federation is looking after the countries to have their support also in the countries to actually develop something, to do something, and put something in place that actually players can go on the world tour, because it's cost a lot of money to fly around the world. But still, then I think it would be also easier when you have a compact plan, a compact calendar, where you can plan a little bit better for the countries also to go on the tournament. But nevertheless, I like also the idea that there should be as much countries participate on the Olympics or World Champs or big highlights, to have their chances to grow, to make those experiences. Out of those experiences, you can only grow, and that's why it's very important that they have the possibility to get there.
Amazing. Well, we are almost at the end. Just one final question. It's a more personal question. Which kind of music I don't know if you had a special song that you loved for your introduction in the World Championships or the World Tour?
I had some songs, but I have to say I can't remember all the songs, because I love when it's about like R&B and kind of hip hop music, and but then also when there's a song coming up from the radio, and I like the melody, but I never know the titles or the singer, the writer of the song. I'm really bad on those things, but Robbie Williams with Angels was definitely special, because we had that in our when we were winning in Hamburg, the tournament. They were playing the song, and that was really special. But nevertheless, then I like music. I love melody, but I can't tell you titles.
Okay, well, Laura, it has been a great pleasure for me, for Alfredo, of course. We are doing these interviews in behalf of the International Volleyball of Fame. This video will premiere in my channel on next Saturday, and in the next few days or weeks in the International Volleyball Hall of Fame YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, Laura, for being here. It's been a pleasure. You're a lovely person. I have the pleasure to meet. I had the pleasure to meet you in the Holyoke last year. One final word for all the people and all the volleyball fans around the world who will watch this very entertaining interview.
Well, first of all, it was also a pleasure for me. Thank you so much for hanging in there. Even I sometimes don't answer because I'm like all over the place sometimes. So sorry for that. But cool that you kept working hard on having this call together. And I love exchanging experiences and give my experience out to the world. And my last thing, what I would say out to the world is definitely find something what you love and just do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it now. That's what I would like to exchange.
And well, of course, you're welcome for this year induction ceremony in October. It will be amazing. There will be, of course, a couple of names on beach volleyball side, but it could be great.
I can't wait. Now I can't wait to see the next generation of inductees.
Yeah. Okay, Laura. Thanks a lot. See you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Alex. Ciao,
Bye-bye.
ciao. It was really nice to meet you. Ciao, bye, bye.
Me too. Bye bye.